In this area of the Appalachian, the foothills of the Blue Ridge, we have an amazing abundance and diversity of salamanders that really is a unique opportunity for us to study the overall health and the ecosystem of this area. These animals can tell us a lot about what's going on with the health of our planet. The Appalachian region in general is a biologically diverse hotspot for amphibians, specifically salamanders. So this is kind of like the salamander capital of the world. My mom used to hate it, but my favorite thing to do was have her take me out to the stream and just let me collect a bunch of things and kind of run back and freak her out. You know, she didn't like all the little slimy stuff moving around. But that always intrigued me was this little cool thing that looked like a lizard, but it wasn't. It was more closely related to a frog. It's an amphibian. Salamanders are very susceptible to changes in the environment because they're absorbing things through their skin. So we use them as kind of biological indicators of environmental health. They're one of the first things that start to decline if the environment becomes sick around them. So you have to come out and survey year after year to get a good handle on what's going on. Having the ability to study them in their natural environment gives us information that we can take back to allow us to be more successful in a captive setting at the zoo.
It's like elementary school all over again.
Salamanders will probably be in and around the stream here, and we're just setting a transect so we can actually monitor where we find salamanders.
That rock was so big, I was expecting to find like a dragon under there.
I found one, guys.
What do you have, Lauren?
I got a redback.
Usually the best spots in Appalachia to try and find really unique and rare salamanders are also really good spots to find timber rattlesnakes and copperheads. You have like a split-second decision whether you want to grab it or jump back if it's something you don't want to catch.
Oh, here's one, too. Oh, no! He went in this little crack, but I still see his tail.
You got a two-line?
Got him?
Yep, I got a 2-line.
Excellent. Good job. Salamanders are incredibly hard to hold. So we put them in a Ziploc bag where we can kind of secure them easily. They can breathe in the bag. Makes it less stressful for them and easier for us. Once we collect it, we take the total length, the tail length, and then we take a snout to vent length. So that's a measurement from the tip of the snout to behind their hind legs before where the tail starts.
So snout vent looks like it is 6.59 centimeters.
And Matt, what location are we?
We are at the 10-meter mark.
He looks really good. He's a nice, big, chunky animal. He is 11.5 grams.
11.5 grams. If you take all the salamanders that are out in the forest and you weigh them, they're gonna outweigh the small mammals that are living in the same forest. They're out in the forest by the millions.
Salamanders are super important parts of forest ecosystems because they eat lots of the little insects that are on the forest floor, and then they pass that energy up the food chain to things that eat them, like other salamanders, snakes, birds, things like that. Certain species like to be very aquatic. Some will lay eggs in the water and have a larval stage.
This is a larval red salamander. You can kind of see the red on the top of its tail. So I need a bag with some water in it.
Red salamanders start off kind of like a tadpole, but for salamanders, and they have these external feathery gills. They're breathing through these gills as a young larval form, and then as they turn into adults, they lose those gills and then end up breathing through their skin. I found a red.
You find him in a really muddy spot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a red.
Oh yeah, it's an old one, big one.
Finding both the adult and the larval form is pretty neat because then it shows you these animals are breeding and doing really well in this environment.
I was really happy with what we saw today. Every 2 or 3 meters, we were finding salamanders of different age classes and sizes, which is always really important. That's all pretty good sign that things are healthy in this area of the forest.
When I tell people that there's 56 species of salamanders in Virginia alone, they are just mind blown. So when you can find animals kind of right here in your own backyard.
So this summer, if you're out walking around in the woods, pay attention to the little things, the rotten logs on the side of the trail, or these little streams that are just trickling through, and think about all the different diversity of life that's happening underneath those areas that you don't see.